Tonight, we look at the issue of speech in Canadian university classrooms, where some people think some ideas are too dangerous.
The Prime Minister apologizes to those in Newfoundland and Labrador who experienced the horror of residential schools.
But we begin with a mass killing at an Egyptian mosque. In a country that has seen so much violence, today's attack was the deadliest in recent memory. It started with an explosion during Friday prayers that shook the mosque full of people and sent them running for their lives. But imagine their horror as they came right into the path of dozens of militants waiting for them with guns pointed straight at them. At least 235 people were killed, more than 100 were injured. They came from outside, says this man, wounded by the gunfire. They destroyed everything. Hospitals still so overwhelmed tonight, some of the injured have been left to wait outside until they can be treated by doctors. The town where this happened is more than 200 kilometers from Cairo. Bir al-Abed is in northern Sinai, the target of other terror attacks where journalists have not been allowed in for years. So the world relies on witnesses for this story. One man, horrified by the scene, said that he helped gather the bodies of at least 25 children. The CBC's Nala Ayed now has more on the attack and the response.
It's one of Egypt's deadliest attacks in recent memory. The hush of a mosque full of people gathered for Friday prayers shattered first by an explosion, according to witnesses. Then, as people tried to get away, attackers in military uniform opened fire. And again, it was witnesses who reported they used automatic weapons and even on the ambulances there to help. Everyone was bumping into one another, but I was able to make out masked men wearing military clothing, he says. It's worth noting that the authorities have barred media from the area at the same time that it has seen a growing number of militant attacks in recent years. So the few images and information on this latest attack came either from official sources or local witnesses and social media. For years, Egyptian forces have struggled to contain an insurgency in the area, involving several militant groups. One ISIS affiliate in particular has claimed responsibility for several attacks, mostly on security forces. What's different here is the attack was on a mosque. We've seen militants target churches in Egypt, but rarely mosques. And it's not clear why this mosque, although some speculate it's because worshippers belong to the Sufi order of Islam, which some extremists view as heretical. In a speech to the nation, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi promised revenge. We will respond with brutal strength to retaliate against these terrorist extremists, he says. Shortly afterwards, security forces conducted airstrikes in the area. They also stepped up security, including at the Cairo airport. The country now observes 3 days of mourning. Nala Ayed, CBC News, Beirut.
Some Canadians know this part of the Sinai well. It's where Canada has had its largest peacekeeping force, involving some 68 Canadian soldiers. But there have been so many attacks by the Islamic State in that region, the Canadian commander had to move much of the operation further south. Not all of it, though. And documents obtained by CBC show the Sinai mission still worries Canadian commanders. Here's why. There's been a full-scale insurgency there since 2013 when Egypt's president, Mohamed Morsi, was overthrown. And Egypt can't really control it. One group has been particularly vicious there, Sinai province, affiliated with ISIS. That's the group that says it brought down a Russian plane in 2015 with more than 200 tourists on board. Typically, though, it's gone after Egyptian police and military, killing hundreds of them. That worshipping Muslims, Sufis in particular, could be targeted maybe shouldn't surprise. Extremist groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda accuse Sufis of being idol worshippers, not real Muslims. In January of this year, in an ISIS magazine, there was an elaborate plot to eradicate Sufis in the Sinai, calling them a disease and vowing to wipe out the Rauda Lodge. That is the mosque attack today. It was full of workers from a salt processing company and local police officers in the middle of Friday prayers. For a village of less than 1,000 people, no home will have been spared. Support for Egypt is coming in from around the world. Canada condemns this attack and stands shoulder to shoulder with the people of Egypt in this difficult time, the Prime Minister said in a statement. The Eiffel Tower turned its lights off to pay tribute to the victims. And from the mayor of Tel Aviv, condolences to our friends across the border, he said, with the municipal building lit up like the Egyptian flag. And so again, Andrew, it bears repeating the death toll here at this point, and of course it may well go up, but 235 people.
It's a staggering number. Well, meantime, the big story here in this country, Justin Trudeau apologized today for decades of abuse and isolation suffered by Indigenous people in Newfoundland and Labrador. As children, they were torn from their families and forced to live in residential schools.
But it is my hope that in apologizing today, in acknowledging the past and asking for forgiveness, that as a country, we will continue to advance on the path of reconciliation together.
Now, Canada has already apologized to residential school survivors, but when Stephen Harper did so in 2008, he deliberately left out all of those people from Newfoundland and Labrador. Schools there had already been established before they were even a part of Canada. Yet, even now, some reject Trudeau's gesture. Yesterday, the Innu Nation said it would not be taking part in the ceremony, and still others have struggled to decide, is sorry really enough all these years later? Here's David Cochran with the heart of this story.
Nasty things happen to little children. They had to beat the heathen out of us. That's the words they used on me. You little heathen, we're going to make you white. Oh. Okay, let's do it.
You all right?
Yeah, got to do it.
What's going through your mind?
Just bad memories.
Jimmy Tutok was brought to Northwest River in 1969 when he was just 9 years old. He ran away by the time he was 11.
I got tired of seeing the abuse, being abused on a weekly basis. You go and get your bath, come in, keep you quiet in the bathroom by put the damp, wet paste cloth in your mouth so you can so you couldn't scream.
Tutok is ready to accept the Prime Minister's apology, to heal, to move on. But not everyone is. Toby Obed spearheaded the fight for this apology, and 2 days before the Prime Minister would apologize from this stage, Obed didn't know if he would accept it.
I'll be walking out that door.
You would walk out if you don't like what he says.
Yep. I will walk out that door.
Obed was taken to that school in Northwest River when he was just 3 years old. By the age of 6, he was fending off abusers and molesters.
The emotional abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse. I've been living with all that garbage for all these years.
After residential school, Obed went through a string of foster homes. By 16, he was an alcoholic. In his 20s, he passed out on a -50 night and lost both feet and his left hand to frostbite. He still drinks. He's tried to stop. He says he can't.
I ain't going to quit, don't want to quit. I'll quit when I'm ready. Until then, I'll keep drinking.
Toby's supporters today include Inuit national leader Natan Obed. Natan and Toby are cousins. Natan is the other older boy in this picture. Natan's father is one of more than 100 residential school survivors who died without ever hearing anybody say they were sorry. Another of many broken things left in need of repair.
Nothing can bring back his childhood. Nothing is going to take away the memories of abuse or I think the restlessness that he had throughout his whole life about who he was and how he fit into his community or even into society. But an apology to say that it was wrong, that he could internalize and identify with, I think would have been very meaningful.
Oh my God, this is it, Donna.
You're amazing. You did this.
Finally, the day is here. Toby has made it. That's a good sign. But in the minutes leading up to the ceremony, he leaves the auditorium. He isn't storming out. He's headed backstage to a narrow hallway for a private meeting.
No.
Excluded by one prime minister, embraced by another.
We're here together.
Yep. It's real. It's really, really happening.
It's really happening.
Finally, the ceremony begins, and the hundreds of other survivors in the auditorium get their moment of apology.
We are sorry for not apologizing sooner, for not righting this wrong before now.
That moment unlocks years of sadness before unleashing celebration. Then it was Toby Obed's moment of triumph. Dancing on prosthetic feet, his fight over, his doubt gone.
Because I come from a patient and forgiving culture, I think it is proper for us to accept the apology from the government of Canada.
We got our apology.
From the audience, Jimmy Tutuk soaks it all in. 46 years after running away from that school, Tutuk has found peace and a home.
Darn proud to be Inuit, Labrador Inuit, and just as proud to be a Canadian.
Toby Obed was part of the $50 million class action settlement negotiated with the government last year, and it included some pretty grim calculations. A person's payout changed depending on how often they were abused and how badly. Obed received the maximum compensation for abuse, $200,000.
Are there some topics too sensitive for a university classroom, and who gets to decide? Those questions have focused attention on a university in Waterloo, Ontario, echoing an issue that's being heard on campuses across the country. The latest flashpoint in the debate over free speech.
It's a horrible shame to see the university descend into censorship and petty political correctness.
Today, people rallied in support of Lindsay Shepherd. She's the teaching assistant at the center of a controversy at Wilfrid Laurier University. Shepherd says that she never considered herself an advocate for free speech until now. We'll hear from her in a moment, but first a look at how she was thrust into the spotlight. Shepherd used clips of this debate from the public broadcaster TV Ontario about gender-neutral pronouns. It was part of a first-year communications class, and it included controversial University of Toronto professor Jordan Peterson.
And I don't like these made-up words, Z and Zer and that sort of thing.
Okay, what about, they're not all made-up words, quote-unquote made-up words. For example, they is one of them.
Yeah, but
to speak to an individual as they.
Right, but we can't dispense with the distinction between singular and plural.
At least one student complained about Shepherd's use of the video, and she was accused of violating the university's gendered and sexual violence policy. She met with her supervisor and another professor where, among other things, her use of the video was compared to airing Nazi propaganda.
But this is like neutrally playing a speech by Hitler or Milo Yiannopoulos from Gamergate.
Shepherd recorded the meeting and released the audio, and that's when this story became national news. On Tuesday, the school's president apologized to her, saying, "The conversation I heard does not reflect the values and practices to which Laurier aspires. I'm sorry it occurred in the way it did, and I regret the impact it had on Lindsay Shepherd." The university continues to investigate this, but that is not enough for some of the people who attended that rally today. Our Ron Charles heard from them and spoke to others who say their voices have been drowned out.
On one side of the street next to Wilfrid Laurier University, the free speech rally in support of Lindsay Shepherd.
Attacks on freedom of speech need to get out of the classrooms of Laurier.
On the other side, a line of silent counter-protesters who call the debate Shepherd brought into her classroom an attack on their very existence.
Without automatically coming to attack us.
For Laurier student Milas Hewson, that existence needs to include being identified by the gender-neutral pronouns they and them instead of he or she.
To have to be constantly on the defensive, defending our experiences, who we are as people, whether or not we are people in some cases, whether we exist, it's very upsetting.
Across the street, the free speech rally attendees counter that sometimes being upset by what's said is the price of academic freedom and learning about a diversity of views.
It is clear to me that the culture of coddling and comforting students has gone too far.
On this side of the street, Alex McEwen is one lone transgender student who came out in support of Shepherd.
And we need to use that free speech to show other people and discuss openly with them, respectfully. I also belong in this society as much as you do, and we can come to an agreement or agree to disagree.
But today, the two sides remained separated by the chasm of a busy street. Ron Charles, CBC News, Waterloo, Ontario.
And Lindsay Shepherd joins us now. It's been a couple of weeks since this story broke. How's it been for you?
It's been really overwhelming, but all of it has been worth it.
And so a lot of people want to claim you as theirs, as support for their point of view. You were saying to me earlier, though, you don't want to see this as a left-wing or right-wing issue. How should we look at this?
We should see it as freedom of expression, whether on a campus or otherwise, is everyone's issue. And I don't think either side of a political spectrum should be able to claim it for themselves.
When you made that decision as a teaching assistant, you're a master's student and you were teaching undergraduates, to play this clip from TV Ontario, did you have any idea that it was going to turn into such a contentious thing?
I didn't. And based on the discussion that we actually had in the class, it was so intelligent and reflective and mature that I was so surprised to know that actually someone had a serious problem with it. So
somebody, at least one person in that classroom, complained to the university saying you'd violated the policies at that university. What do you know about the accuser and the accusation?
I know absolutely nothing. So I don't know how many people complained. I don't know if it's something specific that I said or something that was in the clip or something maybe that even someone in the class said. And currently the Rainbow Center at Wilfrid Laurier University is demanding an apology from me. But first, I feel like I need to know, what am I apologizing for? So, you've obviously had a lot of time to think about it. What do you think that they want you to apologize for? I think it's just the fact that a figure, Jordan Peterson, was in the clip, and it's by proxy of me bringing that figure into the classroom. Even though, obviously, all of us have different aspects of us that are maybe things that some people agree with and some people don't. So, to think that one person is just polarizing no matter what and he has to be banned from the classroom, it's just a little bit outrageous to me.
So you made the decision to tape the meeting that you had with a professor and someone else who was on the faculty, and that really is what has created so much attention here, because it is a remarkable, 45-minute meeting to listen to. And in that meeting, you were accused of a lot of things, including violating the Canadian Human Rights Code. You kind of stood your ground. It was emotional at times in there. And now the university has apologized to you. How do you feel about the apology?
So I do appreciate their apology, but at the same time, they were on a route to self-destruction, and their only option was to apologize. And, you know, unfortunately, the apology, although it's a step in the right direction, they were kind of making it seem that this was an issue of TA training or mentorship, or like maybe I hadn't been trained properly, when really that's such a distraction from the real issue, which is that this was, you know, a 42-minute meeting based on them telling me that I'm not allowed to let students have certain views. And it's just suppression. It's just silencing.
You're a master's student in your early 20s. What is the lesson here for instructors and professors at universities across the country, do you think?
It's that people really care about freedom of expression and freedom of speech, and people don't want to be told what to think, and they want to be able to come to their own conclusions. They want to be able to critically think, and especially students who are in a university, and this is their time for personal and intellectual development, and we should let them figure out their own way.
All right, Lindsay Shepherd, thank you very much.
Thank you.
As we've mentioned, Laurier is not alone. Some argue that at many universities, it has become increasingly difficult for certain viewpoints to be heard at all. Jordan Peterson, in particular, has been a divisive figure, shouted down by protesters at McMaster University.
It was about 100 people, and there were only about 3 Aboriginal. Well, there's a shock.
Someone pulled the fire alarm when he and Rebel Media founder Ezra Levant spoke at the University of Toronto. Laurier canceled an appearance by Danielle Robitaille, one of the lawyers who represented Jian Ghomeshi. A student group said her presence would be threatening for sexual assault survivors, and they intended to disrupt the speech.
This is going to be a real anticlimax. I had thought.
At Middlebury College in Vermont, students turned their backs on controversial author Charles Murray, later drowning out the planned debate. And this is what happened in California when a Berkeley student group invited alt-right figure Milo Yiannopoulos to speak. But there is pushback, and it too is controversial. The University of Chicago now warning freshmen that they'll hear debates and viewpoints that may challenge them and even cause discomfort, adding the school does not support, quote, so-called trigger warnings and safe spaces.
Okay, well, still ahead tonight on The National, Donald Trump's connections to Russia. They go back decades. We'll take you through it all with a former correspondent who's now banned from Moscow.
And the crocodile is sworn in as the new president of Zimbabwe with promises of change for that country.
And the Argos are ready to take on the Stamps in this Sunday's Grey Cup, but it is the CFL commissioner who had what some saw as the offensive line today.
No one is going to dispute that concussions aren't good for the players. But the other side of this equation is this question of cause and effect.
We hope the settlement package will bring comfort.
It's news thousands of First Nations Canadians have been waiting to hear. A compensation package for every student of residential schools. $10,000 to start and $3,000 more for every year a victim stayed in the institutions. As many as 86,000 former students across the country may be eligible for payments under this plan.
It's a good news for the survivors. It's good news for the older people who are, don't have to put them through this long, tedious, legalistic process. This is one that is more friendly, and hopefully that'll speed up the settlement.
Beginning in 1928, First Nations children were sent far from home to residential schools scattered throughout Canada. At its peak, there were 82 that operated in Canada. A story of that experience is one of sorrow, separation, loss of culture and identity, physical and sexual abuse. The compensation package brings good news for many, but not everyone stands to qualify.
I feel, personally, that we should be included in there.
Jerry Cheesy attended Grandin College. It was an elite college operated by the Catholic Church to educate promising First Nation students. Entrance to Granite College was done by careful selection. Those like Cheesy, who were handpicked, don't qualify for any financial compensation. He says this is unfair and that he should be treated like other survivors.
Because it impacted our lives tremendously. One, we're away from our family, we're away from our community. Because we're in this institution, we didn't get to practice our languages and our culture. And plus, in a deeper, more human way, we became dysfunctional with our own families.
Just makes you want to sing, doesn't it? That's the Rough Rider Pep Band, getting football fans in the spirit for Grey Cup weekend. And though Ottawa's team, the Red Blacks, they aren't in it this year, they're still hosting. The city's brimming with excitement. Thousands of people from across the country making their way to the nation's capital ahead of Sunday's matchup between the Calgary Stampeders and the Toronto Argonauts. And sure enough, the Grey Cup itself has already been making the rounds at parties across the city, teasing fans, stoking rivalries. David Common is in Ottawa for us tonight and joins us now from the Grey Cup Festival grounds. And David, for all of us who can't be there, paint us a picture. What's it like?
Well, it's a bit chilly, but I got to tell you, having said that, there are a number of people, maybe one or two, who seem to have a beer in their hand at the party outside TD Place here in Ottawa. And you know, Andrew, this really should be a banner year for the CFL. The Grey Cup has been sold out for weeks. TV ratings are up, attendance is up, breaking records in the playoff games. And you know, there's even a group of investors talking about expanding a team, expanding out to Halifax.
I feel like there's a but coming, though.
Yeah, indeed there is. It is all about those hard hits to the head and the legacy they leave.
The elephant in the room, of course, is the question on concussions. Concussions are, in fact, an injury. It is a brain trauma.
But that's about as far as the CFL will go. What Commissioner Randy Ambrosie won't say, the long-term impacts of repeated blows to the head are connected to devastating brain disease.
The cause and effect is unclear. It just simply is, and we're going to rely on the science.
You talk about a word, concussion.
And it led to a remarkable interaction. One of the CFL's biggest stars, Nick Lewis, confronting the commissioner mid-news conference.
When will we stop selling safe when we know there's nothing we can do to make the game safer?
Well, Nick, it's a great question.
But not one easily answered. The league is facing a massive lawsuit from former players. Nick Lewis may want the CFL to say football can lead to brain injury, but if it does, the liability could kill the league.
And if they come out and say, yes, football is dangerous, they're liable to past players, and then you risk the getting sued and all these other things. So it's a catch-22. What can they do to really turn the corner without leaving themselves open for lawsuit?
So there have been baby steps. Even at today's practices, full contact is gone, discontinued abruptly this season in the name of safety. Only meters away from practice at the University of Ottawa, they're working to better understand hard hits on the player's brain. But there's no doubt there is a connection.
Is it right to say there is no link?
No, I think that's the science is well established. The fact there is a link between head impacts and trauma and associated neurological disease. Because if you ignore that or turn a blind eye to it, it's not going to get better. And these are not going to go away. It's just going to get worse.
He's inside the 10 and The NFL has started to acknowledge that, as have some of the biggest names in sports broadcasting.
The reality is that this game destroys people's brains. And as not everyone, but a substantial number. It's not a small number, it's a considerable number. It destroys their brains.
And so we asked Randy Ambrosie if he's not worried about the perception of being in denial.
Well, I hope not. I mean, I've said when I took the job 5 months ago that I would pursue the truth. I would read and investigate and educate myself, and I'm doing that.
It's a tough position for the league and for football in general. How do you make a game that is built on heavy contact safer?
Right, and David, a tough position because as you learned, I mean, the league is worried about liability, but we are seeing that play out with the NFL.
Yeah, we certainly are. It's a very different kind of league with a lot more money, and part of the reason that they are reconciling this is because they have settled a $1 billion lawsuit with former players, which meant they had to come to some kind of idea, a reconciliation around the idea of hard hits and brain injury.
Okay, David Common in Ottawa for us. Thanks very much.
Clearly they knew they were in danger. The people around them knew they were in danger. So what did we do about that danger? How did we try to contain it? Clearly we didn't contain it at the end of the day.
Some tough questions tonight about support for victims of domestic violence as a triple murder trial in Ottawa comes to an end. Basil Barutsky was convicted today of 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of second-degree murder in the deaths of 3 women back in 2015. All 3 were killed on the same day, and all of them had past relationships with Barutsky. 2 had even reported him to police earlier for assault and uttering threats. Animal activists in Vancouver are looking for answers after the death of a false killer whale at the city's aquarium. Chester was rescued off the coast of Vancouver Island back in 2014. He was in bad shape when he arrived at the aquarium, and officials say that while he did improve, he never fully recovered. Right now, it's not totally clear how Chester died, but we're told he did start behaving strangely on Wednesday. His death is the 4th of its kind at the Vancouver Aquarium just in the last year. Last November, 2 beluga whales died in the span of just 2 weeks, and in June, a harbor porpoise died. Well, also tonight, job cuts at Canada's second-largest grocery chain. Sobeys announced today that it is cutting 800 office jobs across the country. And that's a big number. It's about 20% of the company's office staff. So why is it happening? Well, traditional grocery chains generally are struggling to compete. The shift to online retail has also changed the shopping landscape. And for its part, the company says this is a move to save money and to reorganize.
We still have a lot ahead here on The National. Zimbabwe has a new president tonight, a change at the top, but what will it really mean for the people on the ground?
And could Donald Trump's ties to Russia soon trigger a crisis for the president?
I wouldn't say the White House is on fire, but I think the shrubbery is on fire, and the garden is looking pretty orange, and they're heading inexorably towards the White House.
The glow of the Grey Cup still burning bright for fans today, and thousands of them came out to celebrate with their team.
A 7-time Grey Cup champion. This is awesome!
This is our cup, this is our house, these are our boys. This is the icing on the cake. This is the final act.
It is a final act in a remarkable season for the Stamps. Never before has a team won 17 games in a season, capping it off with a Grey Cup. This fan marking lucky number 7 on his jacket.
Didn't quite have enough time to get it embroidered, but it'll be going on there pretty quick.
Fittingly, the all-star running back John Cornish bringing out the cup.
How awesome is this?
Mayor Nenshi starting the party, the fans loving every minute of it.
I hereby proclaim December 2nd, 2014 as what else? Calgary Stampeders Day!
Despite the party atmosphere in the plaza, some players reflecting on what this all means.
I've had to learn to grow, and I think that just made me a better person, a better teammate, and man, it's a special day to be able to be a part of this.
As for that Grey Cup, it was back in one piece after being snapped in 2 during post-game celebrations, and we found out who did it.
Who broke the cup?
I can't hear you, man. So much noise. I hear that.
Hey, John, how about this?
Hey, you know what? I didn't break the cup. I just lifted the cup in it. I don't think it was put together good anyway.
It's Calgary's cup now, and these fans and Stampeders will make sure it's in safe hands for at least a year. Devin Haru, CBC News, Calgary.
Congratulations, Argos. This is what you call a dream come true, folks. We said they could do it, and they did it. It's my honor and my privilege to role play today.
Lawyers for Donald Trump's former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, have reportedly stopped cooperating with the president's lawyers. And that's led to speculation Flynn may be preparing to make a deal with investigators in the Russia probe. His short stint in the White House was dogged by questions about his communication with Russian officials before his resignation in February. A plea deal from Flynn would bring the Russia probe even closer to the president. So how close is it going to get? In his new book, Collusion, How Russia Helped Trump Win the White House, investigative journalist Luke Harding details Trump's extensive and concerning ties to Russia over decades. He sat down with Terrence McKenna to talk about why Trump is the perfect target for Russian intelligence.
Luke Harding's last two books have been turned into major Hollywood films. The Fifth Estate about WikiLeaks' Julian Assange.
He will tell you the truth.
And Oliver Stone's movie about Edward Snowden.
The NSA is really tracking every cell phone in the world.
Harding was the longtime Moscow correspondent for The Guardian until he was expelled from Russia in 2011. He thinks Donald Trump's business dealings with Russia show every sign of manipulation by Russian intelligence services.
The KGB sent around a secret memo in the mid-1980s explaining what they wanted in a kind of target. They wanted someone who was narcissistic, they wanted someone who liked money, they wanted someone who was a lousy analyst. And if you check down the list, Trump ticks every single box. This is about 1985, and then of course Donald Trump makes his first visit to Soviet Moscow in the summer of 1987.
On that first visit to Russia with his then-wife Ivana in July 1987, Donald Trump began negotiating to build a Trump hotel complex, a lucrative deal that would be dangled in front of him for the next 30 years.
When Trump first visited Moscow, I've got no doubt that he would have been targeted by the KGB. Not because I'm a conspiracy theorist, just because that's what they did. And more to the point, he was invited by the Soviet government. And it was all expenses paid. The other thing we can say is that Trump's hotel room in Soviet Moscow in 1987 would have been bugged, like any kind of rich American, he would have been under technical surveillance. All of this stuff would have been put in a dossier.
Harding says the KGB would have especially focused on Trump's notorious womanizing over the years.
These KGB personality questionnaires, one of the first questions they ask is the target susceptible to women? Does he have affairs on the side? Because what they're looking for is they're looking for something they can exploit.
Meet the press. A fiery Donald Trump comes out swinging, slamming the circulation of unverified allegations against him.
It's a disgrace.
Of course, Donald Trump's 30-year business relationship with Russia and explosive allegations about his sexual activity there
compromising information
hit the headlines last January.
The president-elect and Russia.
With the revelation of a private intelligence dossier about him.
It's all fake news. It's phony stuff.
The infamous dossier alleging collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia was the work of a small security company here on Grosvenor Gardens in London. Orbis Business Intelligence has a good reputation in the security business.
The firm is co-owned by former British intelligence officer Christopher Steele, the author of the explosive dossier.
I won't be making any further statements or comments at this time.
Steele has refused all interview requests, but he did speak to Luke Harding.
He's someone who's engaged with Russia. He was there as a young spy in the early 1990s, but he's been doing this stuff for about 30 years, since 2008 in private intelligence. I think most people in Western intelligence think the dossier is broadly correct. And Steele's own assessment, according to what his friends say, is that the dossier is somewhere between 70 and 90% correct. It's not perfect, it's raw intelligence, but nor is it fake.
Welcome back to Miss Universe 2013, coming at you from Moscow.
The most sensational part of the infamous Steele dossier concerns the 2013 Miss Universe contest that Donald Trump staged in Moscow.
And of course, the big man on campus, Donald Trump.
Steele's sources reported that Trump hosted multiple prostitutes in the presidential suite at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Moscow, and that he had them perform perverted sexual acts, all secretly filmed to provide the Russian intelligence with kompromat, compromising material that could later be used to blackmail him. Trump absolutely denied it.
Does anyone really believe that story? I'm also very much of a germaphobe, by the way. Believe me.
In recent days, Trump's bodyguard Keith Schiller testified that an offer was made to provide multiple prostitutes to Trump's suite, but that Trump had laughed it off. When Luke Harding was the Guardian correspondent in Moscow 10 years ago, the FSB let him know that he was being monitored, even in his bedroom.
What did Trump do in 2013 when he flew into Moscow for the Miss Universe beauty pageant? Did he go to bed early with a cup of hot chocolate, or did he watch an entertaining show in his bedroom? Now, we can't answer that, but what we can say 100% is that the FSB would have videoed everything. That's what they do. They're specialists. They've done it since KGB times, and they did it to me.
Much of the Steele dossier has been proven true, especially concerning some very shady characters who were working inside the Trump presidential campaign. In March 2016, Donald Trump named Carter Page as one of his key foreign policy advisors. Page is an eccentric businessman, academic, and pro-Russian zealot whom the FBI had long suspected was some kind of Russian agent. Back in 2015, the FBI wiretapped 2 Russian spies working undercover in New York City for the Russian VEB Bank, considered a front for Russian intelligence. The spies were talking about recruiting Page, identified in this 2015 indictment as male number 1. The spy Victor Podovny suggested an approach to Page. I will take you to a restaurant and give you an expensive gift. You just need to sign for it. That is the ideal working method. You get documents from him and then tell him to go f*** himself. I think he's an idiot. He flies to Moscow more often than I do. It's obvious he wants to earn loads of money. It appears the Russians wanted to bribe Carter Page, then blackmail him about being bribed.
It seems to me that wittingly or unwittingly, he's a Russian asset.
Another Trump Organization connection to Moscow is Felix Sater, a Russian-American convicted criminal whose father was a notorious Russian mafia figure. Sater was identified as a key negotiator for the proposed Trump Tower in Moscow. He had apparently arranged financing through the Russian VTB Bank.
VTB is very close to the FSB, the Federal Security Service, the spy agency. The head of VTB is a former KGB guy. He formally denies that, but that's kind of pretty well understood by everybody. And the sons of the two FSB chiefs have both worked at VTB. So there's a strong connection between Russian espionage and the bank that Felix Sater said was going to fund Trump Tower.
In 2015, Felix Sater wrote to Trump's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, also identified as a key player in the Steele dossier. Sater told Cohen that Russian government support was key to Trump's presidential campaign. "I will get Putin on this program and we will get Donald elected. Buddy, our boy, can become president of the USA and we can engineer it. I will get all of Putin's team to buy in on this. I will manage this process." In January 2016, in the middle of Trump's presidential campaign, Trump lawyer Cohen wrote directly to Putin's office requesting help with the Moscow Trump Tower project. And yet Trump continued to deny any business dealings with Russia. He tweeted, "I have nothing to do with Russia. No deals, no loans, no nothing." Now Trump's questionable statements and the Steele collusion dossier are in the hands of U.S. Special Counsel Robert Mueller. And Luke Harding has no doubt that there is big trouble coming for Donald Trump and the U.S. political system.
I think the Mueller investigation is moving aggressively forward. I think the flames are kind of, I wouldn't say the White House is on fire, but I think the shrubbery is on fire and the garden is looking pretty orange, and they're heading inexorably towards the White House. And the big question is, what will Trump do? Will Trump stand and watch, or will he fight? And I think my best guess is that at some stage Trump will fire Mueller. Then I think we have a kind of political and a constitutional crisis. Will Trump be impeached? I don't know, but is he the most scandalous president in US history? Yeah, he's already across that line and is heading off somewhere over there.
When we come back, Inauguration Day in Zimbabwe.
I feel like he's got so many people believing in him that he's got to live up to it somehow.
At this appliance superstore in Bellingham, Washington, there's a splash of color to this upcoming Black Friday. Not just the poinsettias, but an expected flood of Canadian dollars.
There's a lot of money if you can.
Yeah, no
kidding.
Kate Grady is a happy man. The Washington state housing market may be in recession, but luxury brands are big sellers at this store.
If you were to look at our sales last year of high-end versus this year, it's, I would say, tripled. And if you look at where those are going, it's all going up to Canada.
That demand has literally changed the way this store looks. They've boosted the number of premium brands in these displays.
What we had initially thought of bringing in was even a lower price point, but we looked at our Canadian statistics and said, these are what's selling.
For Canadians, it's a perfect storm of proximity, parity, and prices set by manufacturers.
Most of your brands will have a minimum sale price, if you will. So they're going to say you're going to sell this appliance for X. In Canada, that X is traditionally higher than it is down here. So a Canadian coming down here on a package can save 20%. One package recently, it was a $10,000 savings.
And it's not just the big ticket items.
We get just a ton of Canadian clients.
For hairspray?
For hairspray.
And for this polish as well?
For polish and appliances are three items that we truly just fly off of our shelves. I mean, those are probably like our #1 sellers, is the OPI.
These cosmetics cost $8.50 here. In Canada, they sell for $10 to $12. Even small purchases are making a big difference.
Do you think it's helped stores like this during the American recession to be so close to Canada, or what impact has it had?
Yes, absolutely. I definitely think so. I think because you're still getting that demographic to come over the border and still shop with us. So even while maybe Americans are spending a little less, we're not seeing necessarily that the Canadians are spending less.
They're getting ready for Black Friday at this sporting goods store too, stocking up on a brand that was developed in Canada, Sorel's. With Vancouver's population 10 times as big as Bellingham's, it's not surprising Canadian tastes would have an impact here. It's the reverse of the U.S. elephant looming over the Canadian mouse, although the store manager prefers a different analogy.
The American economy is like a racehorse. It's either standing still or it's going too fast. The Canadian economy is
more like, and I say this with all due respect, it's more like that workhorse or plow horse that just keeps going and does well. And so whenever the Canadian economy is good, we get more business, and it has been stable up there.
And so the biggest retail day in the U.S. will draw a lot of British Columbians. At the border just south of Vancouver, Black Friday is traditionally the busiest day of the year for Canadian cross-border shoppers. You will no doubt see pictures of department stores like this one opening at 4 a.m. to accommodate the rush. But some of the Canadians who are here on this day say you couldn't pay them to battle the crowds on Friday.
You guys coming down?
No.
Why not?
Don't like the crowds.
No, probably not. It would just mean it would be really crazy, and I prefer it a little quieter.
No, you're not going to get me to come down here for the worst shopping day of them all.
It's supposed to be the best shopping day.
Depends what you're in for. If you're in for the bargains or the lineups.
And hey, if he has a change of heart, there will be more bargains ahead. Ever mindful of the Canadian shopper, some stores here have added a sale that is not very familiar to many Americans.
The time that I shall be president of Zimbabwe, I solemnly promise that I shall, to the best of my ability, serve everyone who calls and considers Zimbabwe their home.
It was just 3 weeks ago that Emerson Mnangagwa fled Zimbabwe, his political future and personal safety uncertain. Tonight, though, he is the country's new president. That knack for survival will come in handy in a place plagued by problems. As Margaret Evans explains, the first challenge will be earning the people's trust.
If you build it, they will come. A new Zimbabwe to rise from the ashes of a promise long denied. That's how high expectations are amongst Zimbabweans on this inauguration day.
Here in Zimbabwe, we are now happy. We removed that dictator, President Robert Mugabe.
It is the first time they've had a new leader in 37 years, and they say it changes everything. Even though the man taking office is nicknamed the Crocodile for the cunning he showed as Robert Mugabe's intelligence chief.
I, Emerson Mnangagwa.
In front of 60,000 people, he thanked the deposed Mugabe for his role as a liberation hero, but said it was time to right the wrongs of the past and pledged to serve all Zimbabweans.
The message so far from the new administration is that they want the outside world to come back to Zimbabwe and help it get up on its feet again.
We ask those who have punished us in the past to reconsider the economic and political sanctions against us.
He promised an end to corruption and corrosive politics and to compensate white farmers whose land was taken from them in the 2000s.
I feel like he's got so many people believing in him that he's got to live up to it somehow.
There are those who worry that what has essentially been a shift of power within the ruling ZANU-PF party won't translate to changes on the ground for ordinary people. Offering that change will be the real test.
Zimbabweans are not really so worried about who's in charge as they are about whether or not the economy is working.
These two men are making a little extra cash selling crocodile t-shirts, and they're giving their new president the benefit of the doubt.
We are not saying it's the best option, but it's a good option. And it's worth trying.
If you are putting on a trousers that is torn and it's got 5 holes, if you are given a trousers with the 2 holes, it's better than the one with 5 holes.
Let the building begin. Margaret Evans, CBC News, Harare.
Go deeper on the stories of the day earlier in the day. You can subscribe to our newsletter at cbcnews.ca/The National. The National Today takes you inside our journalism every afternoon.
You've probably
heard the rumors by now. A return of the La Nina weather phenomenon may mean a classic winter for Canada. Here's why forecasters are hedging their bets this season. Well, during a normal year, the flow of winds above the equatorial Pacific is pretty cyclical. In an El Nino year, the westerly winds are a little stronger. And in a La Nina year, the easterlies have the leg up. So those strong east to west winds actually push the warm ocean surface to the west, allowing cooler water from deep within the ocean to move up to the surface. And that changes weather patterns all over the world. For Canada, the effect is usually most notable in the west, where colder than normal air will likely dominate this winter. La Nina usually also means wetter than normal for the south coast. And this may be good news for the mountains, but it's very hard to say if this will indeed translate to more snow for the cities. Now, that cold air will likely keep it frigid across the prairies over the next few months as well. And the impacts to our jet streams in a La Nina season can often mean a stormier track for Ontario and Quebec. Those storms will then likely continue on to impact Atlantic Canada more frequently this season. But it is one of the few places across the country where temperatures might be slightly above seasonal. The other exception is Canada's far north. Climate change is having a direct impact on those temperatures, and that continues to override the impacts of La Nina. Speaking of climate change and all this talk of the extra wintry winter, might have some of you reminiscing about winters past. Because as the world warms, our seasons are warming too. And for many parts of the country, that means more rain and less snow. In fact, Environment and Climate Change Canada analyzed over 60 years of weather records and then calculated the probability of having a white snow-covered Christmas. Check this out. Edmonton, from 1965 to 1984, saw on average about 17 centimeters of snow on the ground. From 1994 to 2015, that number dropped to 12, a 5-centimeter difference. Similar numbers for Toronto, who gets a couple centimeters less in recent decades. Quebec City sees over 20 centimeters less in recent decades. The coasts are a bit of an exception with changes to storm tracks, but generally, we're getting less snow. So while this winter may end up being colder and snowier than normal for some, remember that climate change keeps shifting what is normal. And now, you're Science Smart. If you have a science question on your mind, send me a tweet and I'll try to get it answered.
I just heard screaming, and then a herd of people were just charging down. It looked like they were being sort of mowed down, but that was just people running over each other, tripping over each other, like dropping their bags, throwing their things down.
You can get a sense of the tension in London today after what turned out to be a false alarm. It all unfolded on Oxford Street, one of the city's busiest shopping spots. People were out doing their Black Friday shopping when rumors spread about gunfire. That sent people running, and for about an hour, nearby shops and restaurants were locked down. Police say they responded as if it were a terrorist incident, but ultimately they say they found no evidence of any gunfire.
Un momento difícil para todos, pero claramente.
The president of Argentina promising today to keep up the search for a missing Navy submarine. But hope is fading that anyone will be found alive. There were 44 people on board, and it's now been 9 days since the sub disappeared, with only about a week's worth of oxygen. What's more, we learned yesterday there was some type of explosion detected near where it went missing last week. Argentina's president has promised a full investigation into what happened. And shifting gears now to something getting a lot of reaction online tonight. And I'll spoil the surprise right now. It's about Donald Trump on Twitter. So just a little while ago, he wrote, Time magazine called to say that I was probably going to be named Person of the Year, like last year. But I would have to agree to an interview and a major photo shoot. I said probably is no good and took a pass. Thanks anyway. Now, that sparked a lot of reaction on Twitter, most notably from Time magazine itself. And they say it didn't quite happen that way. They say the president is incorrect about how we choose Person of the Year. Time does not comment on our choice until publication, which is December 6th. And Ian, I'll be honest, I don't know what to make of all that.
Well, Couple of things, I think. First of all, that Time Magazine is happy as a magazine to still be relevant and have people talking about them. And also, I think they'd point out that Person of the Year doesn't mean best person of the year, just the newsmaker of the year.
Fair enough. All good points. That is the National for November 24th. Good night.
Right.